Hi, everyone. Today is Thursday, April 8th of 2021, and we're here with MooAnt live from Florida on vacation, but still joining us because this isn't like real work, is it, MooAnt?
No, and what better person and people over on the side I'd rather hang out with while I'm on vacation, and stress is less. And I think a lot of us are getting excited about the portfolios and what the future means. And one thing that you've done that I can't thank you enough is you've put a lot of us in contact. A lot of us came here for maybe a specific reason, the woo or cryptos. What we found is a nice community all going through a bunch of wonderful change at the same time. And it can be a little overwhelming, but as you say, and your buddy says, better and better, right? The best days are ahead for all of us, and I'm just so excited.
But one of the things that I saw the result of was telling people to hold their stand on XRP. Don't sell your XRP. It's not going to zero. It's going to the $1.20 and then possibly to the 10. And that was
I saw that got a nice pop. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when I had two very specific questions from people who were overweighted, and even an email from that guy in Venezuela who holds all XRP pretty much. Wow. And he asked me, he said, should I spread out to other cryptos? And I was like, absolutely not. Not now. You've held it now for 3 years. This is your family's escape from Venezuela.
Right.
Like, that was how much my opinion, because that's what it is. I'm just giving you my opinion as a psychic medium. I have no reason to know the answer to any of these questions.
You do.
You guys all know about XRP. I don't know about XRP.
Right.
People read up everything about it. They study it. They keep up on the news, and they report it on the Discord channel. And that's how I learn about XRP. But, my impressions, and this is part of, the creation of the videos that are going to start being pumped out shortly. Probably by May, we'll have our first. And then we're planning on sending and it's all going to be cryptos pretty much. And that's going to flood the market, and people are going to see that. And they're going to be like, well, either she's a medium or she's a wicked trader. Right.
Right.
Hey, nice to see you,
buddy.
Welcome. So those people who don't know, for those who don't know, Crypto Spartan is one of the guest stars on Psychic Nerds, and a big part of what people are looking forward to with the Psychic Nerds is charting with Spartan. So we decided to include Crypto Spartan in a segment of our weekly meetup, because I think that if we look at some of the charts there, and then I can give you some feedback on how I'm feeling about it, I think that that'll be interesting. And then, of course, MooAnt will give his 2 cents as well, because he knows the tech side of it. The trading. MooAnt, you do some trading too, but you're more on the tech side of it, where your information would be useful. And then mine is I'm just being me.
Yeah, so I'm sure Matt Damon's got a lot of time on his hands these days. You're probably not shooting a lot of movies, so I'm so glad you can be with us and doing some charting.
I left the country and moved to Australia because I was sick and tired of the politics here. Yeah. Remember that? It's like, if Trump gets elected, I'm moving to Australia. That was his big line out of Hollywood.
Yeah. Hit us. What are you seeing?
Yeah, we're going to do you first, and then we'll go through the questions, because some of them are probably going to be answered from your charts and my comments. Everyone asks about the same cryptos pretty much, except that weird one about XYO. Remember? That was so weird how somebody asked about that, and I hadn't heard about it for like 2 years. And then the next day, Candace talks to me about it because she had some information about it. And I was like, okay, you don't got to tell me twice. So what do we have here, Spartan?
So this is Tezos. We had a sharp pullback yesterday in the market. We were a little overdue because things had run up so hard. I was looking this morning at charts to find the ones that had the most relative strength to other cryptos. So this one came down to a consolidation there. The previous highs back on February 12th, the previous highs in April, and then it just came down here, and it's bouncing strong off the previous resistance, now turned support. So I think this is one that's going to continue running and providing good profits for us. The other one, that chart that looked really good this morning. You got a comment, Moo?
No, I'm just excited. A lot of us have been waiting for Tezos to get back to that $6 range. It's nice to see it's just upward movement. I think a lot of us are just really happy to see that. We've been waiting.
Right. And And everybody's favorite lately has been V-Chain, and you can see where the pullback was in. Let's get rid of. Is that too hard to see on the screen?
It's okay for me.
But
Looks great.
okay. So this was our big run up in March in V-Chain from the 3.5 cents to 9.5 cents, and then it's still breaking out and it's still looking strong. So although we pulled back just to the previous swing high, as in Tezos did, and we're about to make new highs. So this has the most relative strength compared to the other cryptos. So I expect this to keep running and going higher.
So it looks like that last top on VET was 12 cents. When do you expect it to break that top 12?
These are 4-hour candles on these charts that I'm showing today.
Yeah.
So within the next 12 hours.
Okay. That's what I would think. Cool.
That's what at best guess, so someone could come in, someone in the government could come and say that we're going to take away all cryptos and it could go down, but it would only be because of news.
I won't be selling mine.
No, all that stuff. All people do is they just, that it's just a fraud. They're just trying to beat down the price. You know what? Bad news, FUD. I want to buy in. I just sold like all of my apartment complexes,
right?
And I want to put in $10 billion. Let's cause some FUD. Let's get some bad news out there because the market will pull back like $100 billion on bad news, even more than that. But I don't care. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like Honey Badger.
I know. It's like, yep, it's going to be just fine. Another thing I've noticed in our primary Q labs, you'll see this pattern right here with like 4 candles in a row with wicks on the 4-hour chart. We'll see it in Ethereum. Next, we see our pattern right here. So it did break a little bit to the low. So I expect a little more consolidation in Ethereum because it broke these previous lows. But it just means it's got to come up here and then come down and then go up to make new highs. So where a V-Chain and Tezos did not break pattern, this one did break pattern. So it's just going to take a little more work to continue. Same thing with Polkadot. Polkadot came right down to see the same pattern right here. Came right back down to previous resistance. Now support. Previous highs here. So it made new highs, and then the new whatever brought the whole market down yesterday just came right back down to a support area. This one would probably continue quicker than Ethereum did to make new highs.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And ADA is still congesting. It's big run up. We had almost a 10x in this market since the beginning of the year. This stuff's a lot slower on the. So here we are.
It's okay.
Where I drew my fib back here on December 23rd as the low, and we went from 15 cents to $1.50. So we're still consolidating in this. In the big triangle and then a smaller triangle. We got a consolidation range that we've been hanging out in since March 26th. And the day after, I'm a U of M fan's birthday, so I just want to let everybody know, happy birthday, post-birthday, Dave.
Happy birthday.
and so we're just hanging out right here in this area. It's got to break above the magenta line and then make new highs, and it should be off to the races. And I know we've talked about that earlier in the week, that we expect a big month for Cardano, and it just has to break out of this consolidation pattern to resume its upward trend.
It's nice, and a lot of us over on the Psychic Nerds really appreciate you doing all the charting. And you and Santino get into some nice back and forths there and post a lot of charts. And there's other people too posting charts, but it's pretty nice to kind of use it as a bellwether to see where some of these things are going. Can you do me a favor? Can you pull up BNB a little bit? I got 2 flashes on BNB, one at $5 and one at 40. And I think last I looked, it started to take off again down in the 280 range. And I think it's 415 right now. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I'd like you to be able to maybe take a look at it, maybe on a 5-minute chart.
BNB.
Yep.
Which one? The perpetual futures? No, that's Binance.
Yeah, it's Binance token, but I would use the, my screen is super far away from me. Use the BNB USDT.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Yep.
They've just got a lot of futures on that one right now.
Yeah, it does.
I told you, man.
Future.
Once the commission's financial salespeople who eat
Yeah.
what they kill found this business, it was just going to be, they were just going to create so many different products. It was going to be nutso.
Wow. February, $43 to, this is 10x since February.
Yeah, I think I communicated privately.
I'll go to the 5 minute I'll go to the 5 minute in just a second. I just want to show a recent breakout here.
Thank you.
And it's currently making new highs. It made the same pattern as the other Q Labs did, and it's already making new highs. So this is very, very bullish right now.
Yeah, all of those exchange coins, all of them will do really well because they offer deals. I own some, I think it's Hubai, because I'm on Hubai Global, because there's some stuff that some of my stuff that I had for a couple of years, I took some profits on finally. But then, of course, I'm not getting out of the market, and I was buying some newer stuff that I discovered. And it was like you got such a discount on the fees if you just, bought their coins. So as the activity increases on the crypto exchanges, so shall their coins. Now, if I could throw something out there, the only thing that will take any exchange off its game is bad news. So, if somebody's not, if somebody's in the sights of the Securities and Exchange Commission, and, you're going to kind of get an XRP reaction to the price of the coin. And, and so that's probably why I don't own anything. So, but people have asked me in early days about the exchange coins. I think, MooAnt, you remember me getting those questions, and that all the exchanges were going to do well, whether it was Hubai or KuCoin or Binance or, we
were the first ones on that, kind of pushing the exchange tokens, how well they were going to do. For sure.
Yeah.
So this is interesting because the Binance ecosystem is a large ecosystem, and it's a lot of people were sucked into this BDAO thing, right? And we've answered a lot of questions around this BDAO, but what people failed to realize, because they just weren't doing their own research or digging a little bit deeper, is that the BNB was the collateral inside that mechanism. So the BNB token was being heavily discounted for what it was going to bring to the ecosystem. Now, them launching their DeFi, and I guess you could call it CDeFi or DCFi, because it's all centralized. Binance stuff is all centralized, but it runs Ethereum nodes, private Ethereum nodes. But when we've seen that market take off, and it's really pumped up this BNB token, so it's just doing great. I hope people got in at $5. I hope they got in at $9. I hope they got in at 40.
Yeah. Hey, Spartan, can you flip over to unless you have more to say about Binance? The next one I wanted to bring up, Stellar. I wanted to talk about that because MooAnt asked, if I had any sort of news this week, and one of them was in regards to Stellar. During a reading, I could tell I was getting a blab during the reading, because it's just, there's kind of a different feeling. It's like, you take that right turn, that 90-degree turn. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going into an awful lot about a coin, like just during a reading. I should probably tell everybody what I said. Yeah. But about XRP, they were asking me about staking, and I said that I didn't think that Stellar was so much going to stake as people were going to make a nice return because of the using it for a loan. So that sort of backs up more the fact that Stellar may be used as a currency.
Yeah, so here's the 4-hour chart on Stellar. We can go to daily if you want, but this is it made the same pattern right here as the other Q Labs did, but it did it right on a previous trend line. So it's just waiting to pick up steam. It hasn't come out of the gates as a horse race as some of the other horses have, but yeah, I feel really good about this coin too.
Yeah, well, I mean, they all definitely take turns. And, I remember months ago just kind of going poke to vet, like, what's going on with you, vet? But I was telling people, like, and still, even recently, even with vet, when it was up to 5 and 6 cents, I was like, no, man, like, still buy it. Oh, but it went on such a big run. Is it going to correct back? I'm like, I don't think so. Like, but I'm telling you, $7 for vet. Like, why would you not buy it at 6 cents? I mean, what is wrong with you? Buy it at 6 cents. And I told everybody a year ago that the prices we were getting now, that it would make it very difficult for us to buy, but to continue to buy if you're dollar cost averaging, because it's still a steal of a deal if you're in the right cryptos. And that's the key. Wait until the carnage happens and so many of them start going down, and it'll be like, okay, yeah, this is why our list makes more sense now.
Yeah,
so I'd like to get both your... Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
one thing I've been really feeling about long-term, some of these projects that have, long-term and great staking at the same time, ADA and ETH and Polkadot, I think those are ones that are going to provide us income long-term and just stuff that you're going to want to hold on to. Some of the other ones that might have a higher multiple could be the coins that we buy stuff with, whether it's real estate, houses, rentals, apartments, or just a nice house in Florida somewhere, so you don't have to handle the Michigan winters. That's just something I've been thinking a lot of lately.
Well, I'd love to get your perspective on that, both of you, because, I think that we're going to see a lot of people getting pops in coins that they've been holding for a good 2-3 years. They suddenly get a pop. And I think to move to some of these staking coins is the way to go. And Sam, you see staking coming for Stellar later, and people have to be very careful about the stupid phishing emails that constantly come out. There's no staking available. You can get,
But I was sorry, MooAnt. I was just saying, though, that's why I brought up Stellar and the staking thing. Remember I talked about it sometimes when I see things, it's like I'm out to sea. And then as I'm getting closer to the island, I'm like, oh, that's not a cat. That's a cougar. Oh, dear. Right? Big difference. A difference without a distinction when you're a mile offshore. But when you're only, 100 meters, well, then that's different. Right. So anyways, my thing about Stellar that I'm now saying, so I'm changing it from staking. I felt like that there would be third parties, like, for example, Kraken, that would say stake your Stellar, but they're not actually staking it. Not like you're staking Ethereum or staking your Cardano. It's not the same, or your DOT. It is more like a loan. And then you're getting an interest rate. So what's happening is the intermediary is loaning the Stellar out and paying you an interest rate for that. And I don't know why I'm bringing that up as even a difference. But for some reason, it was something that came up the other day. You guys always want to know what my blabs are from readings. And I do have most of those on video too. So we'll even compile a bunch of them with the team now that's being assembled to go through the thousands of hours of videos and match the timelines.
Well, one thing I always thought that was great about that is we've noticed inside of some of these CeFi platforms that they give much more cash back on Stellar than anything else. So, when you want to convert that to a card and spend it, and I always thought that was interesting, that maybe you were picking up on a lot of that. Listen, there's a reason for that kind of stuff, and there's financial reasons for that. And some I feel like I can talk about, and some I feel like I can't. But, when you were seeing that they're offering 4% cashback rewards on Stellar, that should be a heads up to everybody that this one is going to be treated a little bit a lot differently than some of the rest, right? There's a reason for that.
Yeah, Tech Cowgirl says that it's probably because there's a higher risk involved with that. And that makes sense, because I always tell people, when you get a higher return, like the crypto market is absolutely, bonkers. No wonder people are following the mediums, right? What do you got to lose, right? It was at that point, it was like, nothing makes any sense here.
I think Stellar's being incentivized to be used. There's very few of these cryptos that could be used today in a payment system that people would recognize. And Stellar is definitely one of those. And I don't think your average person understands probably how close that is. I mean, there's a reason Coinbase is going to offer 4% cash back on debit cards. Well, Tarzan says here 4% back debit card when you use Stellar. So yeah, I just think it's interesting. I think this is going to be used in payment systems. We already have seen that the top, Ethereum's going to be used in several others, but this is great. I think this is just wonderful, and it gives people lots of options with their cryptos for sure.
Do you have anything else you want to look at? Because that's pretty much the primary ones that we're moving today.
I know people still interested in taking some profits from something like Theta and moving it to maybe a DOT or an Ethereum. I want to take a look at Theta just real quick before we move on here.
Mm-hmm. No, I was looking at Theta. I was looking at Theta the other day, and I drew multiple fibs on like all the different swings. And then when I lined up all the extensions, it gave me some very significant price projections where they all lined up. So these are some significant prices for me around 18, 20, 23, and 30. Yeah. Where I think, if you're going to be taking profit in the next 3 or 4 months, we could see another double in Theta.
Wow.
I'm basing that on, if you look at, I saw a histogram or a chart that showed how April is one of the biggest positive months for the crypto market over the last 10 years.
Always has been. Yeah. April's always been a great month for crypto.
So if we do Woo, if we do, knowings, if we look at charts, I'm going biased to the long side this month, pretty strong because of the history of the market. So that's kind of where I'm at, and that's why I think we're going to break out and hit some of these prices.
So let's talk about that. Where do you guys see the total market cap being, let's say, a month from now? If April has always been a very, very strong month for cryptos. If we're flirting with 2 trillion now, where do you think we'll be a month from now, Sam?
Gosh, we could be at 3 trillion. I think things will move very quickly, because if I'm seeing 8 trillion at one point, and I was like hazarding to guess by the end of the year, but my timeline thing, I'm like, well, even if it's at the end of 2023, that's still okay. I mean, I'm still going with my sell prices on my cryptocurrencies, just because, there's a certain multiple that there's nothing wrong with hanging in for that multiple. But once you get past that, there's just, when you think about it, if you cash in at 100 times, even if it went 3 more times, like it went from $100 to $300, and then something happened, right? And then it went down and down, and then it never went back up to its all-time high, not for a long time, whatever, right? So you missed your opportunity. And when you think about it, holding on for like 300 times is really, you would have been better off to take it out at 100 times, because it's only 3 times more than what you took out, and you don't know what the top is. But I would rather walk away with what is considered to be a very significant return and still have, meat on the bone for other people. And I know I've said this before, so this is really for, the people watching for the first time, because this will be in the sampler over on YouTube, is I feel like there's so much angst on when to sell. And if you adopt that attitude when you sell, it's fine to leave meat on the bone for other people to enjoy cryptos with. I mean, really, that's what's going to make cryptos grow and start to be used on a regular basis, is the sheer amount of money that a certain percentage of people on the globe who got in early are going to be making, not just us, but the next. And I know that's why it's so tempting to really approach other people and then tell them your personal business about how much money you made with this or that or whatever. But do not do that. That is against your best interest. You have worked very hard for that. Do not tell people that you have made all this money in cryptos, because that will just make some people envious. Not all. It'll make some people envious. They still won't do it. But, and again, if people find out later on that I had cryptos and, did really well, and anybody who says, well, why didn't you tell me? And but see, my response would always be, well, why would I tell you? I'm not responsible for you. I don't talk about my personal financial stuff any more than I talk to you about, my real estate. I bought real estate too. I didn't tell you about that. I don't tell people my personal stuff. That's why I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you couldn't see the entire financial system like freaking melting down right in front of you with 0% interest rates, The printing press is going full blast. The cost of food going up. Lumber has doubled. I mean, if you didn't understand what was happening, I mean, I don't know what to do with you.
Builders have actually told me it's quadrupled here.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
So it's a big deal. You have builders that are stuck in the middle of building out places, and their costs for materials have just went through the roof. So, yeah, it's crazy. Spartan, where do you see this being in a month from now?
When Sam was doing her 2 million show earlier in the week, is like, when we saw 3 million, it's not gonna be difficult to make a 50% increase this month.
Oh, trillion.
I was
not million.
Yeah, a trillion, a 50% increase on 2. So, I see a trillion. We're getting close to that right now again. Total market cap on here is always a little less. It's at 1.9 on.
And I'd like to remind everybody, if you're new to this and it seems crazy that we could add $1 trillion within a month, we were at 1.2 trillion just at the beginning of March. I don't know if you can kind of show that there, but
I just want to talk one thing about Theta before I leave. It's like it's the 4-hour candles. It made that same way, the same consolidation, but it didn't make a new low. So it had run up. It had run up before it came down. So this chart is extremely bullish, and we're still breaking above our trend line. And 15 is in clear sight real quick.
Yeah. I was bullish. I was bullish about Theta because people were asking me, and they were like, well, what do you think? Could it go to 20? I'm like, oh, absolutely. Like even like in the next week, it could go to 20. I'm just telling you that anything more than $10 for me is a gift because, once you hit a certain multiple, then, that should be good enough.
I really think, 18 to 20 is in play within the next few weeks. If it continues going strong, it's we talked about relative strength, or I did at the beginning. I really feel this is still strong, still feeling good. Let's look at the total market cap.
Well, the people on the other side are agreeing with you, Spartan, because I just did a reading with somebody who had Theta and they had a reasonable size bag of it. And I talked to them about their exit plan. That was one of the things that came up. And they asked me about Theta. And I said, no, don't sell it now. I said, it's going to be going up. I can't remember the number I gave, like $15 to $20, like something like that. And I was like, and then just start stepping out. I said, just make your plan. And so I'm definitely bullish on Theta, even though, for me, this is, just a bonus that I need a special tool to retrieve it. But I don't have right now. I guess I'm getting that extra bedroom now. The condos, right? If you get a 2-bedroom versus a 3-bedroom, and like a 3-bedroom, and it's like, and then I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, okay, now it's looking like penthouse. Now it looks like I'll be getting a penthouse, Theta. Thank you. I didn't forget you, Theta. I am coming for you. But now we're running away to a penthouse together, it looks like.
Yep. I'll never leave you behind. I love it. Well, cool. This is great. Yeah, so I'll go even one step further. I think we're going to be over 3 trillion a month from now. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, we'll see. So this is total market cap, including Bitcoin. So we're right. This was right here was the number you were looking at, the 1.11 trillion.
Yep.
This for some reason their calculation is a little, about 5% less than what you'll see on CoinGecko.
Sure.
On a daily basis.
It's important to recognize CoinGecko. The math is different, and it's just point in time. It's not, So it's always going to be a skew.
Right. So that this comes to 2.4 trillion. I think we're looking at an explosive move if we're going to hit some of these numbers.
Me too.
I think people are going to see what we say, face washing or face melting prices and.
That's great. We got anything else for Spartan before we get into these questions?
No, I think we better get started with the questions because somebody did post another question. I saw that. There was 44. Now there's 45. No more questions. Upvoting, remember. So thanks so much, Spartan. And I will see you. Are you coming to Psychic Nerds tomorrow?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. See you then.
See you guys later.
All right. Do you see XRP hitting $10 this month or next month?
I was thinking that it would happen around the end of this month, Broly. But who knows? Maybe that's the April, what did I say, 13th to the 15th? You guys were getting me to throw out dates, right? Who knows? Maybe that's it.
I missed that, Sam. So you were saying you felt like maybe we get a nice surge 13th through the 15th in April?